Stargate.
Hey Josh, this weird thing appeared last night in front of the building.
What weird thing?
I don't know, man. You got to come see it.
Okay. Oh man, do you know what this is?
No, that's why I brought you out here.
Dude, this is a DHD, a dial home device.
What does it do?
It dials.
Okay, but why is it out here?
I mean, why is anything anywhere? Why is this building here? Why is this sidewalk here? Why is this street here? Look, it works. It's tiny. You first.
I can't fit in that, and why am I first?
I mean, I activated it, so you first. Welcome to another exciting episode of And Now Our Feature Presentation, where we don't just love movies from the 80s and 90s.
We live them.
I'm Josh Sanchez, Stargate enthusiast, and this is...
I'm Carey Williams, and I love the little guy with the eyebrow.
An archaeologist is recruited to help a team of scientists activate a portal through space that he and a squad of military personnel enter to travel to another world. This is one of my favorites.
I know it is.
This is Stargate. Oh my gosh, today's feature is Stargate. This movie launched a phenomenal franchise with starting on a cable network television channel, Showtime, Stargate SG-1, starring Richard Dean Anderson as Colonel Jack O'Neill. Everybody knows Rick. And from another great show, maybe you've heard about it, MacGyver. It's MacGyver. This is MacGyver on this show. But we're not talking about the show today. We're here to talk about the film Stargate, starring Kurt Russell as Colonel Jack O'Neill and James Spader as Daniel Jackson. Although I am more partial to Michael Shanks as Dr. Daniel Jackson. Both are phenomenal actors, and that's the last time I'll reference the show. I promise.
You promise. Stargate was released October 28th, 1994, with a budget of $55 million. It went on to gross $16 million during its opening weekend and grossed $196.5 million worldwide.
I think that's pretty good.
It's pretty fantastic.
I would say that's a success. That's what, almost 4 times?
Yeah.
That's amazing. Most of the negativity focused on what was criticized as overuse of special effects, thinness of plot, and excessive use of cliches. Roger Ebert went so far as to say the movie Ed Wood about the worst director of all time was made to prepare us for Stargate. I will give him a knuckle sandwich. Ebert awarded the film 1 out of 4 stars.
And it's not a perfect movie, but 1 star.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, do you even like movies?
I mean, when a movie makes 4 times its budget, and 2 years later spawns a sci-fi franchise that lasts for 10 seasons with like 22 to 24 episodes per season, I don't think they could call this a failure.
This is one of those times where I'm happy that they have like audience score versus critic score now.
Yes. Ebert awarded the film 1 out of 4 stars, and over 10 years later, Stargate remained on his list of most hated films. Mike DeBilla from All Movies said, "There simply isn't enough spectacle in Stargate to make up for its many flaws." The film peaked at #1 on the Billboard chart top video rentals on April 29, 19... The film peaked.
Yeah, like there was somewhere else to go from there.
Video rentals. It's like saying, "Oh man, you peaked. You won.
You only made it to first.
You only made the gold medal at the Olympics."
They just want to dig at it.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. James Spader found Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich's original script to be awful, and even had issues with the revised version. According to Devlin, Spader's main problem was with the dialogue. There was one day where he wouldn't come out of his trailer until we rewrote the scenes. Kurt Russell got very upset with him. He burst into his trailer and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And James said, "Come on, admit it. The dialogue is horrible." Russell said, "Of course, it's horrible. That's why they pay you $1 million. If it was brilliant, you would do it for free." Devlin said that things gradually improved. The movie always had a wink to all the science fiction fans about what we were trying to do and the kinds of movies we were referencing. Once they started to understand the tone, they started to really get it. When the movie was finished, both actors were really pleased with the final product. They were really happy, but I think it just took them a while to get where we were going with it. That's just amazing.
I love that trivia. I love that Kurt Russell blatantly just said that to him.
That's amazing. David Arnold was working as a clerk at a record store in England while scoring students' movies for free when he was approached to compose the music for the film. On the DVD commentary track and in interviews, Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich mentioned how they heard Arnold's score for The Young Americans in 1993 and loved it so much that they offered him the job with almost full freedom to come up with his own themes. Afterwards, they admitted to be a bit nervous since Arnold's scoring experience at the time was limited to a few short films and only one full-length movie. However, their doubts were gone as soon as they heard what Arnold had composed, and they continued their cooperation with him on Independence Day in 1996, Godzilla in 1998. Emmerich called it one of the best scores of my movies by far, and Devlin also stated that this quality is best exemplified by the countless times it was reused in trailers, TV spots, and programs. And I just love this music.
It's wild to me because he's basically an unknown at the time, and this is a major production with a huge budget.
Yes.
And they're like, let's get this guy that works at a record store.
Yes. And this is this music and like all the little like sub music plot things that he does in this movie, they're all reused in the show. So like the main theme, amazing.
Good for him to get noticed. You know what I mean?
Amazing,
Great
amazing.
for him.
Producer Dean Devlin and director Roland Emmerich hired an Egyptologist from UCLA to recreate our best guess of what an ancient Egyptian sounded like, who also taught the actors how to speak. The education paid off because Eric Avari and Alexis Cruz, who became close friends during filming, could hold entire conversations with each other in ancient Egyptian to pass the time. However, Devlin stated that an executive producer loudly admonished him for spending significant amounts of money and time on creating a language that no one on earth would know how to be accurate. Devlin simply replied, "The sci-fi fans will know," which is correct. I love it. He was right. As people at conventions where the movie was promoted were delighted to hear about such attention to detail, recognizing the makers as fellow sci-fi fans. Hiring linguists to create new languages for movies and series has since become commonplace for that very reason. It's insane.
Outdoor scenes were filmed mostly in the desert around Yuma, Arizona, in the scorching July month to avoid the busy dune buggy season. Outside sets were built overnight and in the early morning to avoid the heat. The interior scenes were filmed in the 135,000 square foot converted aircraft hangar in Long Beach, California that had once housed Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose plane, which was the largest hangar in the world, being 500 foot wide and 50 foot high, to allow for some of the most gigantic film sets ever to be created.
That's insane. Rick Moranis was offered to play the role of Dr. Daniel Jackson, but turned it down due to working on Flintstones and Little Giants. That's just insane.
Instead of making one movie, he made two.
He made two movies. The early pre-release screenings of the movie were disastrous. The percentage of audience who liked the movie fell into the mid-30s. And executive producer Mario Casara felt that the main problem was that the plot made zero sense. Producer Dean Devlin noted that Jay Davidson's struggle with drugs and alcohol addiction negatively affected his performance as Raw to the point where the audience didn't believe he was a genuine threat. The solution: change the Raw character into an alien inhabiting a human body, alter his dialogue, and subtitle it into information that presented a clear storyline. When these changes were made, the subsequent test screenings produced an overwhelming majority of positive reviews, and this carried the movie into becoming one of the surprise hits of fall of 1994.
It's a pretty smart fix for it.
Oh,
like,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
It's wild that they even decided to do that. It's a great fix rather than trying to just go with what they are.
So the movie came out in 94, and in 1997, a Stargate television adaptation, Stargate SG-1, based on the basic plot about the aliens from the film, was further developed and explored. Jay Davison was not a professional actor, but a fashion designer in London when he was discovered at a party, which had led to his casting and Oscar-nominated performance in The Crying Game. His dislike of the attention that he received after the movie made him reluctant to take the role of Raw in this film. He didn't want to just turn the offer down, so he made what he expected to be an unacceptable demand of $1 million. This was accepted and he appeared, but he has virtually quit acting after this performance, save for one TV movie and a short film, and went back to being a fashion assistant.
Which is just wild.
It's crazy. Jay Davison thought his performance was terrible and did not know that his voice would be altered, which was an afterthought during post-production, or that he would otherwise be made to appear more alien. After the first screening of the film, Dean Devlin found Davison in tears when Devlin attempted to apologize. Davison responded, "No, you saved me."
And that's
thanked
surprising
them.
as well, because like
Yes.
it's not very often that somebody gets dubbed over
Yeah.
or subtitled or
Yeah,
whatever, and they're
it's-
like, "Hey, thanks a lot."
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I thought I did terrible.
Yeah, and it's amazing that like because he thought he did terrible and they saved the film, and he was worried and relieved. Exactly. A lot of actors when they get dubbed over, they get mad.
They're hurt.
They're
They're
hurt.
like,
They're
you
like,
know,
I put my
I
heart
put
and
my-
soul
yes.
into this, and you changed it. It's insane. It's insane.
Many of the background extras in the opening Egypt scene, as well as the Abydos mine scene, are actually mannequins and scarecrows, as they were cheaper than extras. The scarecrows each consisted of 2 wooden beams set in a concrete-filled can and draped with cloth. For the scenes that required masses of moving people, 1,200 extras were employed. During the one day of shooting, temperatures in the desert soared so high, 126 degrees Fahrenheit, that many of them did not return to work the next day.
I don't blame them at all.
Extras don't get paid a lot. So, I mean, what do you get, like 50 bucks a
my
day at
gosh.
best sometimes? Like maybe a little bit more, but
Yeah. And then the explanation, the Stargate is a system designed to open a wormhole. A wormhole is a hypothetical way of space travel called an Einstein-Rosen bridge, named after scientists Nathan Rosen and Albert Einstein. According to them, the wormhole should be capable to unite 2 distant points in the universe, altering space-time laws to cross from one point to another in a brief period of time. The name wormhole compares the universe to an apple, with the worm burrowing through to reach the other point on the other side instead of crawling along the outside. The same concept was used in Contact in 1997, and then another one of my great sci-fi shows, Deep Space Nine, in 1993. Now let's talk about the cast. First up, we got
Big Daddy Kurt Russell, one of my
Russell.
favorites. I'm a fanboy, and he has been in so much. He's Colonel Jonathan Jack O'Neill. He's been in Used Cars, Escape from New York, The Thing, Best of Times, Big Trouble in Little China, Overboard, Tango and Cash, Backdraft, Captain Ron, Tombstone,
yes,
Forrest Gump as Elvis's voice, uncredited, Executive Decision, Escape from LA, Breakdown, and Soldier.
Next, of course, we have James Spader, who plays Dr. Daniel Jackson, Pretty in Pink, Mannequin, Baby Boom, Lesson Zero, Wall Street, and Bob Roberts.
We have Jay Davidson as Raw, who was in this movie and then also in The Crying Game.
And then we have Vivica Lindfors, who plays Catherine Langford in Creepshow and The Exorcist 3.
We have Alexis Cruz, who's Skara, who also goes on to star in the Stargate SG-1 TV
amazing.
show.
So many episodes. And then we have Millie Avatar, who plays Shaure, Law and Order SVU TV show, and lots of other TV appearances.
We have Leon Rippey, who plays Major General West. They're from Firestarter, The Color Purple, Raw Deal, Maximum Overdrive, Loose Cannons, Young Guns 2, Cuffs, and Universal Soldier.
And then we have John Deal, who plays Lieutenant Colonel Charles Kowalski, who was in Escape from New York, Stripes, Joysticks, Vacation, Madhouse, Mo Money, Falling Down, Remote, The Client, A Time to Kill, and of course, Con Air.
We have Carlos Lachau, who plays Anubis, who's also featured in Spy Hard.
And then we have the Digimon Hansu, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, who was in Unlawful Entry, Amistad, and Gladiator.
We have Eric Avari, who's Kasuf. He's also in Encino Man, For Love or Money, Independence Day, The Mummy, and the Stargate SG-1 TV show.
Playing the same character. And then we have French Stewart, who plays Lieutenant Louis Ferretti. He's in Broken Arrow, Dick, Third Rock from the Sun, and the TV show. Yep, it's great. Now let's talk about, oh my gosh, this
Press
press kit.
We have a nice cover on this one. It's got
I love
the terrific graphics of the cover of the movie poster. You got to love the ring that ports them up to the ship, and you have the pyramid down at the bottom. I always love the colorful ones. It's nice when they have the logos, but it's even better when they have artwork.
I think the ring that's up there is actually the Stargate, and they're actually
misrepresented.
It's like the star. It's a top view of the Stargate active, and then they're just showing like a positioning of it's a pyramid taking you to another planet. Yeah.
We have the little packet that they came with. At least they started doing them in books. Like, remember we had our early stapled ones?
All
it's
the stapled ones.
The cast of characters, and it has the filmmakers and all the crew. Flip through there. You have everybody featured. The mechanical effects. It's got all the credits of, all the different companies that worked on it. We have a synopsis talking about the different characters and the plot line. We have about the production. We have populating 2 worlds. We have the creating Techno Egypt, the artisans of the Stargate.
That's great.
We have Desert Storms on location. There's the language of Stargate, which you referenced earlier. Yep. We have about the cast. Nice little feature about everybody. More features about the filmmakers. Nice little packet of it. And of course, my favorite part of the press kit is always the photos. Nice little wax paper bag here, whatever you want to store these photos in. We have the director and co-screenwriter Roland Emmerich featured in the behind the scenes of that one. We have 2 different shots of James Spader as Daniel Jackson here. And then we have some nice pictures featuring Jay Davidson as the villain Raw in the movie. This isn't a complete press kit, but it's what we could find for the production of this one, and it still has a nice amount of the elements. It could have been a few more pictures, but it's still a nice little depiction of the production of the movie.
It's great. I love that cover. It will take you 1,000,000 light years from home, but will it bring you back? That's the tagline.
You gotta solve the puzzle.
You gotta solve the puzzle.
You gotta know what the symbols to come back are.
Yep. And then let's talk about some of the scenes. We're just gonna go through these real quick. So like finding the Stargate in Egypt, that was a really cool thing. And then they show Daniel Jackson. He's giving a lecture. And he's talking about the pyramids being landing platforms, and it's
people are just muttering and leaving, and nobody's jazzed about what he's saying at all.
Everybody walks out, and he of course he leaves. Well, Catherine Langford offers him a job in this whole process, and he's in the car. And he's like, well, maybe I should think about it or something. And she's like,
what do you have to think about? You got evicted.
He's like, we know your background. You don't have anything in the bank. You're destitute. Like, take the job.
It's like, all right.
Of course, and then the quick cut to, of course, Jack O'Neill sitting on his son's bed. And it's
kind of a dark intro for him. It's
very, very, very dark. He had just lost his son. And it's one of those where his son has basically... And at least in the show, he accidentally shot himself.
I do believe that's what they allude in the movie as well.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there with a firearm, and they're alluding to the fact that he's thinking about taking his own life because he misses his son. And it's as he's sitting there, the military shows up to basically tell him like, hey, you're back on active duty. We have something for you to do, and then we pop over to Daniel at the military facility.
He's being taken to the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, and the music. This is the same music part here that they do in the show. It's the same music, and I just love it. I'm rewatching this. I mean, I've watched this movie so many dozen times, but watching it again for the show, I was like, man, this is the same music that's in the show. It's so great. And of course, when Daniel gets into the military complex, he sees the cover stones. That's the first thing, and they're explaining to him, and he sees the different writings, and he sees the translation on that like chalkboard, and he immediately goes over and starts correcting. And of course, Catherine is just kind of like she's like, yeah, this is the right guy. This is the guy we need, because the people that were there translating before,
Richard Kind.
yes, they're there, and they're just like, no, that's not right. What? No, this is like, who translated this?
And he's like getting flustered.
He's like, I did. He's like, well, this is terrible. And of course, they do the whole 2 weeks go by, and he still hasn't figured out what any of this is. He's trying to figure it all out. And he's walking. I think he walks to like a vending machine or something, or to the bathroom, and he walks back, and there's a guard there with the newspaper. And then he gets the epiphany of the constellation Orion, and it's the symbols. And so he's like, all right, he has a meeting with the general and all the people, and it's like, the general's like, okay, so you think you've solved in 2 weeks what they couldn't solve in 2 years? And he's like, yes, I did. I solved it. And it's like, all right, let's try this. And it's, of course, the revealing of the Stargate. And as he's in the gate room where they have all the controls, he's looking at the symbols, and he's like, well, we need another symbol. And I just love how he walks over to the screen and draws on the screen, because this is like he's in his own world.
He's definitely a character the way he does stuff.
He's in his own world. He literally goes over and with like a Sharpie and draws on the screen. This is the symbol, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is crazy. And I love that. And of course they dial the gate and they go through. But as they're in the gate room, Colonel O'Neill, he's standing on the ramp up to the gate, and it's like, he's giving the speech. He's like, all right, he's like, anyone have anything to say? Now's his time to say it. And this is like classic Daniel Jackson. He sneezes.
He's gonna honk his nose pretty good too. Nice little nose blow into his handkerchief.
He sneezes, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy is such a geek. He's such a nerd. And of course, entering the gate cautiously. And I just love how Daniel Jackson, he is standing there, and he's looking at the event horizon, and it's this looks like shimmering water, and he touches it. He touches it, and he touches it, and then he's like, kind of, like man, this is amazing. And then when he steps through, I just love the effect. I love like how they like almost like all the molecules of his body basically get deconstructed, and then it's like this time warp thing, and then you can see him kind of flying through the space with all the planets and stars going by. I love that effect. It's a very, very, very cool effect. And of course, they arrive on Abydos, and they're trying to figure out, how do we get back?
That panic. We're trapped.
We're like, all right, let's get us back. And he's like, well, I can't unless I have a point of origin. Like, what? We got to do some looking around. We got to figure out what's going on. And of course, they go outside, and you look up, and you can see the pyramid, and you can see 3 moons in the sky. And of course, Jack O'Neill brings a nuke as
and then you realize he's got an ulterior motive.
There's like
with
a contingency plan of like, okay, if things go sideways, he's gonna do this. And of course, Daniel Jackson finds the message and gets dragged, and they're chasing after him. And that's when they find the mining camp, and you first see Skara. And of course, O'Neill tells Jackson, "Hey, you're up. You're the linguist. Like
do your thing."
And of course, they see his amulet. And they think he is somebody else because they see the amulet.
They know the amulet.
Yeah, so they all bow down. And then, of course, Skara runs and gets Kasuf. And, and...
they offer him the candy, chocolate bar.
So Kasuf comes up, and he's like, they're bowing to him because they think he's a god. Is basically what it is. Or they think he's a representative of the gods. That's what they later learn. But... they're like, okay, what's going on? So Daniel is trying to build some kind of bond between them because he doesn't understand them, So he takes out a candy bar, and he's like, look, this is food. And of course, Kasuf, he's like, he eats it, and I love this. He says, he takes and smells it, and then takes a bite, and he's, Mandi way. And he's like, it's the universal sign of like, good. It's a and he says, what are you saying? I have no idea, but he's inviting us to go with him. And then, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? Because he's inviting us to go with him. I love that. I love that part. Of course, you see the city, and when they get to the city, the Eye of Ra and the alarm and the panic with the squad members because they're like, "What's going on? Why are they closing the city?" And then like they actually hold some people hostage, and they realize, oh, there's a sandstorm coming, and so we have to basically hunker
Buckle
down
down,
here
yeah.
because if we go out, we're not gonna make it. And there's just a feast, and there's like, this tastes like
Tastes
chicken.
like chicken.
Tastes like
They're like
chicken.
trepidations.
They're like,
Like, everything
"What do you
always
mean?
tastes
What do
like
you mean? It
chicken."
tastes like chicken, and of course they're all it's so funny because they're doing the chicken sounds, and it's your favorite character. Walk.
I love the little guy with the eyebrows. He's the best.
Oh man, it's great. And then the writing there, he's trying to figure some symbols out on how to get home, but writing apparently is forbidden. So he starts to write on the ground and like, no, you can't do that. They wipe
get in
it away.
trouble.
You get in trouble. So then they take Jackson and they clean him up, and that scene to me is just hilarious. It's just all the washing and all the people, and he's like, all right, get out of here. And then they bring Sharae in.
Like, here you go.
Yeah, and
Here's your lady.
he's like, oh no, this is not. I'm not trying to do this. And so he sits and talks with her. So they say, and he refuses her, but then he's like starts to kind of converse with her because he's trying to communicate with them, and he draws on the ground.
And everybody's always alarmed
Yes,
at that.
but she actually completes the symbol, and he's like, you've seen this before, like what's going on? And then of course we jump to the desert part, and Ra's ship has arrived, and it's landing on the pyramid, and I don't know what it's called in the movie, but in the show it's called a Hatak vessel. So we see this big huge pyramid ship, and it's Ra and Anubis and Horus, and then back to the city, and with Jack and the lighter, and he's playing with the lighter. And he's the cigarette, and he knows he's being watched.
Yes.
He knows he's being watched. So he does this. He gives Skara a cigarette, and he takes a real big drag out of it. Go ahead.
And I almost take it like he's amused.
Yes.
So he wants to. Like, he's showing like a little kindness. He's kind of a hard, guy, but like I almost liken it to like him kind of like missing his son, and it's like he's a young man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yep.
he's showing this young man something,
Yep.
and it's like it's a little more endearing for him because it's a young man.
Yes. And so he takes a real long drag on that cigarette. And of course, Skara does the same thing, and he coughs. He's like, oh, and he says something, and he throws the cigarette down, and he smashes it out. And of course, Colonel Jack O'Neill is like, yeah, I guess I should do the same thing. And of course, he leans away, and Scar reaches for his gun, his machine gun. And that immediately triggers Jack.
Yes.
He's like, no, get away, bad. And of course, he runs away.
Scares him.
And then, of course, we go back to Dr. Jackson, and he's seeing the symbols, and he's reading them. And Sharae is correcting him because he understands what some of these symbols are, like on the wall, because she takes him to a place. He understands what some of these symbols are, but he hasn't heard. He doesn't know what this language sounds like. He's only guessing. So he's saying the symbols. He's saying the letters on the wall, and she's correcting him.
Right, because he's not accurate.
Because he's not accurate.
doing it without ever having heard it.
Yes, exactly. And then of course, Jack gives him the lighter, and of course, Skara is showing off the lighter. Yep.
You've given me fire.
He's giving me fire, exactly. And of course, O'Neill is looking for Jackson, and he goes over to the group, and he's like, "I'm looking for Dr. Daniel." And he's
describing him like the nerdy guy.
And the
Doesn't even gesture about blowing his
the
nose.
chicken, balk, and then they all start clucking. And of course, your favorite guy doesn't stop clucking. They have to kind of nudge him, stop.
Little eyebrow. He's the best guy.
Oh my gosh, of course. And then that's when they find the tablet with the 6th symbol, but they need the
7th symbol.
They need the 7th symbol to get home, and it's worn off, and so they don't know what to do. And it's the story on the wall. There's a story of the traveler and the parasite, so they all get all that, of course.
And I think is that when they start to explain about like why he made like reading illegal, so that because like there was basically like
so there was an uprising in
Earth.
Egypt on Earth, yes, and because of the uprising, he made writing.
He didn't want it to happen
He
again.
didn't want it to happen again. Yes, exactly. So they go back to base camp. Some of the kids follow them, and they find bullet casings everywhere. And then there's the ring transport and some of the guards with staff weapons and this whole thing. And then the opening of the mask, and they figure out that these who they thought were gods are just people
inside
They're
of
people in
these.
masks.
Yes.
And so it's like an eye-opening moment for some of the natives.
makes it possible for them to have resistance. Then
yes,
it's not
yes.
something where it's like this indestructible force that they can't oppose.
Yep. And then, of course, Raw somehow gets the nuke, a hold of the nuke.
It doesn't actually ever show it. It's just like a surprise.
Well, I mean, so the nuke is left there at base camp. It's left by the Stargate,
right.
And when the ship lands, it's basically on the Stargate, and the ring system, transport system, is right there next to the star. So it's one
not
of those.
hard, but they don't show it being
yes,
taken.
of course. It's like you assume, okay, he's got the bomb now. This is crazy.
And he tells him
Yes,
what his
yes,
intentions are. He's going to send it back and destroy Earth.
Yep, and then of
basically.
course we go back to the city and we find that Daniel Jackson is married. That whole
He's like,
cleaning,
yeah, we're married
the
now.
cleaning, and then the soiree there. They got married, and he didn't.
I got a wife.
I got a wife now. It's so funny, and of course, Skara, he's drawing the day of their victory, and that's when he sees the seventh symbol. He's like, it's the seventh symbol. The epiphany, exactly, of course, and then the ambush, the guard, the revelation of the gods being human, and then Ra is gonna send the bomb to Earth, and of course the Death Gliders are out, which are those flying ships. That's what they call them in the show, Death Gliders, and then Daniel being tortured, of course, because he's, I guess, the only one who knows. He seems to be the only one who understands with these foreigners who are there on Abydos of what's kind of going on. So he gets tortured, and of course they ring down. Jack tries to turn off the bomb,
but it doesn't work.
He's like, "Why is the bomb out?" He's like, "I don't know. I'm doing everything it's going." And of course, they surrender in masses on the hill, and it's like. They're surrendered, and those few Horus and Anubis guards are there with their staff weapons. But then you see over the hill the masses.
Oh, yes.
The masses are there, ready to take off, and I just love that how they just take off down the sand.
He comes running down.
Yes, I love that. Of course, both Daniel and they got the idea. They're like, well, if we can't disarm the bomb.
They have let's send it where we want it to be.
Let's send it through the rings up through Ra's ship, and of course that's what happened, and you can see the ship explode in the sky, and it's glorious.
It's like blowing up the Death Star.
And of course the cheering, everyone's cheering, and then of course you see Skara and the kids saluting Jack, and then Jack salutes back, and then Kowalski, because Kowalski is during parts of the movie, Kowalski doesn't like Daniel because a lot of them don't like him.
They blame him for being stuck there.
Because he's not military. He's not trained for any of this. He's a scientist. He's a nerd. So they kind of have this like, what are you even doing here? Get us home. Like, do your job.
They already didn't like him, and they were even more angry once they realized they're stranded.
They're stranded there. So there's a part in the movie where they're like on the sand dune, and like his books are all over the place, and Kowalski comes over to him like, dude, what are you doing? Like, read your books. Do some research. And he's like, I gotta look around. He's like, dude, get us home. You're not gonna be able to get us home unless you're doing what you're supposed to. And of course, at the end, Kowalski is like, I always knew you'd get us back.
Yeah, right.
And then Ferretti laughs. Is yeah, right. And it's just love that. And it's like, I'm gonna be all right. And then Jack says, yeah, I think so, because he ends up staying because he's got a wife, and he's like, look,
which is funny because at first, Kurt Russell's character is the one that plans on staying to set the bomb off when they return.
Yes.
He's going to stay back, launch the nuke off.
Yep.
And it ends up being Daniel instead because he's got to stay with his, his new place, his new lady. He's got a,
he's
got a whole new world to explore.
A whole new world to explore, and he doesn't really have anything back home because, of course, he's been evicted. He's got nothing in the bank account. So he's
Why go
okay.
back?
Yeah, he's okay with
that. He's going to be like the, big dog in the new world because he's the smartest guy around for a minute.
And I love what O'Neill says. I'll be seeing you around, Dr. Jackson. And then of course they go through the wormhole. They travel through the gate and then to the end. And I love that. And I love how it was left open.
Yes, it's just like right through the travel. I love how it was
left open because 2 years later they start basically right where they left off. It's like, I think it's 2 years after, or a year after this movie ends is when the show takes place.
Like, no, we need MacGyver.
We need Richard Dean Anderson and Michael Shea.
He also always figures it out.
He always figures it out. I don't want to talk about the show too much, but I like the contrast of his character from MacGyver to Stargate, because in MacGyver, he's a very, like, a know-it-all, and in Stargate, he really isn't.
He's a little more bumbling.
I don't want to say he's bumbling. He's a colonel, so he knows tactics and he knows that kind of stuff. And like in the movie, he's a military guy, but he's got a comical side to him that's like very, very well done. And I'm not gonna say any more about that show. Sorry.
You promised.
I have my fingers crossed. Oh, this movie means so much to me, because it is literally the start. When this movie came out, I remember watching it, and it was just it was like awe-inspiring to me. It created this sense of wonderment of like, what could be out there? Like, we could travel through these devices to go to some of these other places. And I remember watching this movie and saying to my dad, wouldn't it be cool to have a show? I literally remember saying that. Wouldn't it be cool to have a show like that, like a Star Trek type show where they would go to these... And literally 2 years later, I remember saying this to my dad. I remember saying, Dad, they're making a Stargate show, and it's going to be on TV, and it's called Stargate SG-1. And he's like, what? Who's going to be in it? And I was like, MacGyver's going to be in it. This is amazing. And I loved. And I mean, it is cheesy. I will have to say that. I'll admit, I love the show, but the show is cheesy, but I still love it. It gets really good. But the show is cheesy. All right, my favorite characters, or our favorite characters, are...
I like eyebrows, Nabe. He's
like
the little eyebrow guy. He's just so happy. He's a happy-go-lucky little fella. I wish he wouldn't have died.
Yeah.
Why is he got to die,
man.
Josh?
He did. He perished.
He fought the good fight, though.
He fought the good fight. He was scared. He was up at the top, and they were all... because it was the execution, you know. They brought all the Abadosians there to the pyramid, and they're all out there, and they're bringing up the ore to the top of where the landing of the pyramid is. And when the thing starts, because he's like, all right, we'll give you a signal, and then you guys know when the whole thing starts, they're all supposed to rush down, and he's scared. He's scared at the top, and he's like, I gotta go, and then he finally goes, and when he goes, yeah, that's sad. My favorite character is, of course, Daniel Jackson. I just love him. I love him in the show, and I love him in the movie, and they're both done very, very well. So,
and I picked, even though I didn't pick his character, I picked James Spader as my favorite actor.
Yes.
And one of the big reasons is, up until that movie, most things that you see James Spader in, he's the cool guy.
Yeah.
He's like the cool guy that's like, I don't care, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in this one, he's a goofball kind of.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's blowing his nose and like
the nerd,
like,
the geek,
the nerdy geeky guy. And
the
it's
smart
like,
one, yeah.
There was, you know, it was nice to see him be not like pigeonholed into the I'm the cool guy character. It was nice seeing him show off his acting chops to be different from his previous characters.
I loved both Spader and Russell in this movie. Again, I think it mostly stems from... Of course, I have a very skewed view of this movie because I love the show so much. And so trying to do the research for this movie and trying to pick a favorite character, because I love all these characters so much. I even love, like, Kowalski and Ferretti in the short time he's on the show. And, like, just these two characters are such huge cornerstones in the show. And even in the movie, they're just they're the main characters in the show. And so just seeing their interactions, like the Kurt Russell with his son dying and then going off onto this like almost suicide mission. Yeah. And he's like, all right, you know, like, well, I guess I'm going to go kill some aliens. Like, he kind of knows beforehand, because I guess in the extended version, and I guess in they show some of what looks like alien remnants. And so he sees it. There's a scene, I know in the extended version, I don't know if it's in the original, that after the meeting, I guess, with Dr. Jackson, when he figures it out, he goes into the hallway or whatever, and there's like a secure area, and he opens it up, and you can see like one of the Anubis guards or Horus guards there, like the mangled like remnants of the helmet with a staff weapon that's kind of all been melted together. And he's there standing with General West, and Colonel Neal's going, all right, when we get there, I know what I got to do. Kind of one of those things. He's there on a suicide mission because if the aliens are still there, he's going to take them out. Like, that's his job. So.
And what's interesting about both of those characters is they're very different people, but their backstory is that they both have basically shattered lives back home. Like, you know, he has the tragedy with his son, and then Daniel has, like, his life's not going anywhere. His professional
career is gone.
He's destitute, you know what I mean? They both just, like, have nothing going for them. So it is not necessarily a suicide mission for both of them, but they're not leaving as much behind as as other people possibly would be.
So now we're going to go into the prop segment, and we have, oh my gosh, we have an amazing...
The logo is one of the coolest ones that we've had made, and Amy did a nice job like creating this for us.
And before we go over to the table, we actually printed basically a full-size DHD, and because there was so much printing going on this... 3D printer.
Amy's Creality printer is hooked up to the internet, of course, and it sends the statistics of what's running through it. And she had run the printer for such a long duration of time that she was ranked 126th place in the world on top printaholics through Creality system.
That's
and it was just like, wow, because the DHD device was 12 spools of plastic.
Oh my gosh.
And the pillar and Stargate prop were another 4 or 5 spools of plastic. So in total, we're doing like 16, 17 spools of plastic for just 2 props for this episode.
This is insane. And this is the DHD, the dial home device, which is, of course, this is amazing. Oh, man.
Pretty much a life-size representation.
A life-size representation of the DHD from the movie and the show. And this is when we chose to do this movie, they were gonna make a miniature Stargate, making a miniature Stargate, like a larger replica of this. And I said, you know what would be insane? Why don't we make a full-size DHD? And they were like, what's a DHD?
Yes.
I was like, it's the dial home device, and I had to send them pictures. And of course, this is what was printed, and the many hours of printing for this. Oh my gosh. And it's not just, this is like multiple pieces. Like this is multiple pieces
seamed together and painted.
And this actually comes off. I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid I'm going to destroy it. And then the pedestal comes apart. But like all put together and painted, this just looks amazing. And of course, this is the symbol for home, the pyramid with the...
I'm trying to encourage Josh to take it home and
make it.
He's got to rig it up so it's an entrance device into his like garage or something like that. Just come over and hit the right combination of symbols so he can open his garage door or something like that.
I would love to take that home. I would simply love
We'll talk him into it.
Of course, we have the Stargate here, of course, this little tiny...
And the Stargate itself was not much of the plastic, but we needed it to be at a height comparable to the device at least. So we had to create a pillar that's humongous to put it on.
Yes.
And as you saw in our intro, you know what I mean? We had to have something to display it on while it activated.
You went first.
You made me go first.
Oh man, this is one of those things, like with a device like this and with just like my imagination, I always wonder, like, if this was real life, like reality, something like this was actually like in existence, like what was the process for like the creators to create a Stargate?
What kind of discussions did they have leading up to the building of this device?
I wonder.
Glip glop, glorp glop. Glip glop glorp, glip glop glip. The All-Supreme Alien has tasked us with the creation of a highly advanced device. We need to develop some sort of transportation method, some sort of thing we can sort of just demolecularize, and we're on a different planet.
Like some sort of doorway?
No, that's too complicated.
Maybe it can be powered by our astrological sign.
No. A gateway? Yes, a gateway. And not stars.
And
Symbols.
And maybe it can be mind controlled.
No,
And we
no.
just teleport.
No. It needs to have buttons that you can press. And it's gotta have a lot of buttons. And they light up, yes, they light up. And then there should be a big one right in the middle. A great big button. Like the mother of all buttons. Like you need to use your whole hand or a claw to press it. Yes.
And then maybe it just instantaneously transports you.
No. There needs to be a series of things to show you that it's activated. Yes. You need to wait.
And then it instantaneously transports you.
No. That's ridiculous. You need to step through it.
So like a doorway.
No, that's absurd. We already established it's not a doorway. It's a gateway. A gate. A Stargate. Nailed it.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about how we would have done it, I think,
about
too.
how we
It's
would
like,
have done it. Oh my gosh, it's so.
How about those claw hands?
It's
not what I expected.
It's gotta be a big button for like a hand
For a
or
claw.
a claw.
It's got, one giant button will do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thank you so much for watching another episode of An Hour Feature Presentation. We just love recreating these 80s and 90s movies experience. I am Josh Sanchez, and this is
Carey Williams.
And thank you again. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.